Not the next
This
one.
has been probably one of the saddest things that I've seen in gaming ever since Starfield. So once every 6 months, game journalists decide to take the small sliver of credibility that they have and cut it in half. This has happened with Veilguard. It happened with Concord before this. It happened with Starfield. And it's just been happening over and over and over.
Just the other day, we were talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard and how the review embargo lifted, causing the discourse around that game to proliferate. And already since then, 2 other major things have occurred that have caused the biggest shills for this game to absolutely lose their minds. One being the situation with YouTuber Mr. Matty Plays, and the other being the situation with news publication Dual Shockers. The Dual Shocker situation is going to be much more brief to go over.
Let's see what's going on.
Let's start with that one. On October 28th, they posted their official Dragon Age the Veilguard review. And one particular line that they wrote in their review has caused a number of gaming journalists to get very upset on social media. Specifically, that being this area, where they say, it's a game that clearly has had a bit of the Sweet Baby Inc. treatment in spots when it comes to its character backgrounds and storytelling. And it's
a bit? What? It's a game that clearly has had a bit? You think that's a bit? The whole game is about that. You get a bit of the story in this game. Are you serious? In spots where it comes to character backgrounds and storytelling, it's a game that's willing to offer fan service by giving old characters. Wow.
It's a game that is willing to offer fan service by giving old characters little cameo appearances, but unwilling to truly cater to the wants and needs of long-serving Dragon Age fans. The Sweet Baby Inc. thing is
I bet they're not happy about that, are they? I bet they're mad about that one. And this is the problem with journalists, is that a lot of the journalists try to enforce a same think across all of the different people that are reviewing games. So it's like they don't want to see a person that goes outside of the box that they've created for themselves. So it's like nobody is allowed to like address this or give it any credibility. And when you do, when you see a person that does this, all of the other journalists get mad at it.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say it once again. I do not even think the woke agenda in this game is bad. I don't think it's bad. And I don't really even care about that much. But goddamn, they just fucked it up with their voice acting and the dialogues. That is the problem this game has. I have zero problems, you know, with the wokeness in this game whatsoever. It's just a dialogue, man.
Nobody's objective. No, they're not objective. You can't rely on people to be objective, but you should rely on them not to be corrupt.
It's just insane.
Really setting these people off. Now, to be fair, the wording there could be a bit better because it might confuse some people into thinking that SBI had anything to do with Veilguard, which I don't believe it did. However, I think it's reasonable to conclude that the author is simply referencing similarities with Veilguard and SBI-affiliated games in regards to how some things are written, like some of the characters, the story, etc. For example, paraphrasing that part of Skillup's review, where he mentioned that it felt like Veilguard was written with HR constantly in the room. Now, here's the really funny...
It absolutely was.
Constantly in a room with a gun.
And you want to know the reason why so many people got super excited about that game I just showed?
Breathing on their neck.
The real reason why a lot of people got super excited about it is because it's a game that very clearly doesn't pull any punches, like this one here, the Show American Story. It's a game that doesn't pull any punches, and it's a game that has a true, like, identity of itself, and it looks like it's something that's an authentic piece of art rather than just something that's been created.
Wait, what is that? I'm gonna check that later.
It looks like they're not afraid. Yeah, exactly. Like, it gives off the vibe that, like, basically this is a problem that I have with a lot of modern stories.
It's authentic, yes.
Is that even the villains in modern stories are unwilling to do things that are considered socially unacceptable nowadays in, like, culture. And so a lot of characters and stories that are written now,
I am a bad guy. I am a villain. What I do, I steal from the rich. That's the in-depth villain you can get in this game, in this modern age, dude.
With so many guardrails that it doesn't feel like you're seeing an authentic a real experience. You don't have that escapism whenever you're watching this. It's sanitized writing, exactly. A true villain never misgenders someone. Yeah, exactly. China is taking advantage of the discourse in the West by giving the players what they want. Hey, as I said, I had a permanent ban on Bilibili because of comments that I had made critical of China. Because I was so positive about Black Myth Wukong, I have been unbanned on the entire website.
Damn, really? Cool. Well, good for you, man.
I think it's pretty fucking funny. Yeah.
I don't know who the hell uses Bilibili, but
you know. Have with that part of the review isn't what I mentioned. They're actually mad at Sweet Baby Inc. simply even being referenced. For example, this corpo journalist over at Polygon, etc., had this to say.
Who puts in your title, in your description, gay idiot? Like, I mean, I guess I have professional neckbeard, but like, I don't know, what is this? Gaming, yeah, big surprise. This person's going to be mad because they're trying to put their like their sexual orientation into a video game.
Oh my god.
To say me when my brain is sludge and I cannot form a cohesive critique without being a dirtbag, and going on to post that part of the review that mentions Sweet Baby Inc. I noticed the journalist.
By the way, I actually think that some of the journalist criticism is accurate. Because Sweet Baby Inc., I don't think is some sort of harbinger of death for video games. I think the companies that pay them are the harbingers of death, and Sweet Baby is just they're just a scapegoat. That's what I think is happening.
Attempting to hide a response, so I went to take a look at it. This person pointing out how Kotaku has done similar things in their own way. And once again, the journalist's response to this was simply to try and hide the tweet. We can see another self-proclaimed journalist right here also getting upset at DualShockers' reference of Sweet Baby Inc. A response.
See, this is what I'm saying, right? Is like in the professional space, this is the reason why basically all gaming people were saying, every games journalist website is owned by the same platform. I said, I didn't know that, and I already knew that. There's no real difference between IGN, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, Kotaku, or Polygon. They're basically all the same thing. They all have the same opinions. They push the same narrative. They have the same takes. And if somebody steps off of that, outside of that little box, they get in trouble. And that's what's happening right here.
Read, what the heck is this even about anymore? And someone else says sexism and bigotry. Same thing it's been since the beginning. As always, these people come off extremely fake. There's been verifiable evidence of racism and bigotry from Sweet Baby Inc. But go figure that these people will ignore that to defend the corpos. By the way, the person on top claims to be a CEO of a media consultation company. Journalist Jason Schreier would also comment on this, saying, this from a review on Metacritic is truly unhinged, not just because of the dog whistling, but because of the divine power that idiots keep ascribing to consultants. Hate to break it to you folks, but the people making key decisions at game companies aren't on contract.
This is the problem with somebody like Jason Schreier, is that half of what he's saying is absolutely fucking true. Think about how stupid it is to imagine that the people that are making key decisions on the game are from some random fucking consultancy company. Completely fucking retarded.
Not.
Absolutely
Probably not.
However, it's not dog whistling, and you can't just keep insulting the intelligence of people and pretending like, oh, this stuff doesn't matter. Tell people that, oh, well, this isn't happening. You can't do that forever. You're going to kill all of your credibility.
I see.
You're just misrepresenting what people complain about.
What do you mean?
Well, I think that, like, I actually think that it's a lot simpler.
You mean the affiliate? You gotta ask me if you're buying something.
Against woke stuff, he thinks it's probably good. He probably falls onto the category that he thinks it's a good thing. So he's.
If you're buying something, give me a link and I can give you an affiliate link.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Half truth is still not a truth. Well, I think that it's okay to identify which side is which.
Is that a support link?
It comes off like he's really trying to deflect any of the issues that consultation companies bring to games. I've mentioned in many of my videos that I think it's unwise to put all the blame on consultation firms like SPI.
True.
Because ultimately these corporations are the ones willingly hiring them to begin with.
I've said
and
this
of course they
1,000
also
times.
make plenty of terrible decisions on their own. It's also a really bad move to ignore the issues that these consultation firms also bring. And yet it seems like Jason Schreier really doesn't want to acknowledge that. I also find it hilarious how he's attempting to say
it's the underlying issue that they don't want to acknowledge. I think that it's very easy to acknowledge that some consultancy companies might have bad ideas, but it's basically like they don't want to acknowledge that this is an issue that people care about. And like this is what's happened is like it's created a growing disconnect between like the establishment media and the player base. And you see this reflected in YouTube video like dislikes. You see it reflected in like Steam reviews or in Metacritic scores.
That simply referencing Sweet Baby Inc. is a dog whistle, as if people aren't even allowed to say Sweet Baby Inc.'s name. On occasion, Schreier has actually done pretty good investigative work in the gaming space, so it's too bad due to suffering from such political brain rot. Over here, we have a senior reporter.
Well, everybody's going to have some opinions you agree with, some opinions you don't agree with, right? I mean, sure. But like whenever you try to piss on people and tell them it's raining, they're going to get mad at you because fundamentally you're insulting their intelligence. And I think that's why so many people get frustrated about the language that journalists like this use.
At Kotaku, and he also posts that part of DualShockers review that mentions Sweet Baby Inc., saying that it's utterly disqualifying. And the responses.
And see, here's the problem is that a lot of these journalists think that they are, to say that it's disqualifying, the big issue is that people like this have been under the false impression that they are the gatekeepers of acceptability. They're not. The internet has completely made everything a meritocracy.
Like, here's the funniest thing. Nobody is has the authority to gatekeep people's opinion at all. You know?
There's no longer any sort of value that's ascribed to a person because they're at a certain platform. That doesn't make people take them more seriously at all. And that's why these people are so against, in a lot of cases, like YouTubers and independent people. It's because those people are not, they don't have to play by the same rules.
Someone would say, actually shocking to have a major publication feed into right-wing talking points.
Of course, right? And this is like, and again, it's the implication that right-wing is bad. And this is like, again, no, being a conservative is not a bad...
I think both are bad. Being a right-wing and left-wing, you're fucking up. Like, you have to be having a middle ground and then support both of them at the same time. You know? That's what my opinion is about this. Like, it's just so extreme. It's just so much extremist going on with the Western culture, dude. Like, either they go full woke, like complete full nuclear like that, or then they just go full hostile and then go full racism. Like, there is no middle ground for these people at all.
You're not automatically a bad person if you're a conservative. This is like a third grader take. Obviously, that's not the case.
That's so true.
Especially when people think that a right-wing talking point is not allowing illegal immigration.
Like,
it's been extrapolated to such a degree that it just means nothing. It's a shortcut argument. Yeah, it's just... Exactly.
Yeah, it's just most of the time, it's just a trigger politics and then trigger media. Like, it's just a bait, so much bait articles nowadays, just as you instantly talk about the triggering stuff here and triggering people, right? Like with this game, calling it this game woke, and then immediately people just get mad, right? Let's talk about the other things about this game. This game has many problems, and wokeness is one of. I don't think it's a problem. One of them. I don't want to say it is as a problem, but it's just there, you know.
Find it crazy how many social media activists
say good for popularity. Yeah, that's what it get clicks. So they just bait it, and then people just get mad about it. It's just so easy to figure this out, you know.
That critiquing companies is now a right-wing thing to do. A response to that person would say, imagine thinking those are right-wing talking points, not people simply ticked off at the amount of slop and saying enough. Just look at all these AAA
like, hey, look at this. Discrimination because of their preference, and then they just... it's basically the simple logic of divide and conquer. You people, like Western people, has been divided in so many ways with so many different things. So it's easier to just Conquer them. It's just divide and conquer, pretty much. It's so simple. It's happening here as well. It's not like any new concept. It's just happening Western as well. It's happening on both sides. But it's just with the with the Western side, it's more about this kind of stuff, like transgender, the what do you call it, racism and other stuff, right? It's just the same concept, pretty much. If we just make people fight with each other, they can just do something bad in the background.
Some mass layoffs over the last 2 years.
They wouldn't be doing mass layoffs if these games were actually successful. It's really simple.
Pretty much.
It just wouldn't be happening. Why would they be doing mass?
I mean, I could have a tinfoil theory here. So these game companies try to, what do you call it? Try to avoid taxes. Don't want to pay taxes, and then they make it dot games like this. And then they write it off taxes so they don't have to pay income tax or something like that. That could be a possibility. What do you think? $1 billion company making a dot game. People don't be having a competition these days. That's also true. Like these companies, like most of these dot work games comes from the $1 billion companies. Have you noticed that? I wonder why. I think they are intentionally making the game to fail.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
That individual was to block that person.
I think that is more happening than meets the eye, dude. There is something going on background. This is not just the surface level work agenda because of the game just failed because of that reason. This is something more deeper. That we are just on the tip of the iceberg with this. That's what I think.
Earlier, whose response
it's not as simple as this.
Was to simply hide it. Here we have a self-proclaimed media games critic and sensitivity consultant. Once again, also posting the Sweet Baby Ink mention in DualShockers review.
Knocking all of this shit over. What? What does that even mean? Stop hashtag stop Gamergate 2014.
What? Gamergate. What's Gamergate?
You have an NFT? Oh, nice. Fuck. Okay, that's clever. What the fuck?
And as you can see, getting pretty upset by it, saying they want to knock it all over. Wow, real tough guy here. This person claims to be a singer-songwriter featured in Ubisoft games, and they removed the part of the article mentioning Sweet Baby Ink, saying that they fixed it. A self-proclaimed PR marketing person would
it's a the game truly Callisto? What? Truly Casto to the wants and needs of long-serving Dragon Age pods.
Mentioning Sweet Baby Ink, saying that they fixed it. A self-proclaimed PR marketing person would also comment on this, saying, man, what are we doing? I would really love it if I could assume most of the people I run into at professional industry social events are at the baseline good people, please.
Yeah, and this is the issue, is that a lot of these people ascribe virtue to their worldview, and so they look at anybody who doesn't share their worldview as a bad person.
Yep.
And I think this is what makes it a lot easier for them to try to attack and demonize people. It's because they just basically categorize these people as bad people, bad actors, like they're murderers or something like that. Such man babies. Holy fuck, grow up hair. Well, like what I'm saying is that the best way that you can...
Because here's the thing. The reason why I say there is a more deep something, the agenda going behind this, like something is going behind the scenes, is because here in India, where I'm living, there is politics that happen with the people's, caste. So they just differentiate and then make the people fight amongst themselves so they can just steal so much money through corruption and other stuff. So I think if people that's living in India can do that, I think probably $1 billion company is also doing that same thing. That's what I think. This is just the FIFA's tax money, I think. So they just don't want to pay the tax for FIFA, and then they're just making this, and then they're raiding off the tax. That's what's my guess is. Who knows?
Fight against this is by supporting the websites that give you opinions and represent your beliefs. Because at the end of the day, if the websites that are representing your beliefs are the ones that are putting out information,
absolutely, it is like that in Tamil
they're
Nadu.
going to be more popular. You as the customer have all the power. These people don't have any power.
It is bad.
As you can see, many of these industry corpos think that simply referencing Sweet Baby Inc. makes you a terrible person. These sort of people would love to be able to control a specific narrative, and they freak out when that narrative is shattered.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening.
For DualShockers would defend the article, saying, "The entire drama doesn't sit right with me. I'm a queer writer for DualShockers. My experience working with Callum across different websites for nearly 2 years now has been nothing short of excellent. Anyone calling him a quote-unquote anti-woke grifter knows nothing about him. Unfortunately,
I never knew it was the same phenomenon. It's all over the place. That's pretty much the what do you call it? Basic rule of politics, you know. Just divide the people with the caste, religion, and then what else is there? Every discrimination possible, and then let people fight amongst themselves, and then they can just take over the country, and then pretty much steal all the money. You know, it's happening almost all over India. At least that's what I think. It's nothing new. It's been happening to the dawn of freaking civilization. You know.
To these angry people in the industry and make an edit removing the mention of Sweet Baby Inc. from their article. So let me know what you think.
So that's the reason. This is the reason why nobody trusts games journalism. It's that everybody understands that what that phrase meant, but we're all trying to like play this dishonest phrase. It's that everybody understands that what that phrase.
Angry people in the industry and make an edit removing the mention of Sweet Baby Inc. from their article. So let me know what you think.
So that's the reason. This is the reason why nobody trusts games journalism. It's that everybody understands that what that phrase meant, but we're all trying to like play this dishonest game as if we don't. I think that's really the big issue. Yeah, you let them win, exactly. And if you do let those people win, guess what happens? They're going to keep pushing for it more and more and more. It is extremely fucking common, and I think that's what's happening here.
Think about all that stuff in the comments, and now moving on to the section where we talk about what happened to Mr. Matty Plays. As you may know, he had put out a review that isn't exactly positive of the game, titling it Dragon Age the Veilguard is a big disappointment. That in of itself has already upset a number of the biggest shills for this game. However, things also got a lot more complicated.
It is a big disappointment, yes. If you're a fan of Dragon Age Inquisition, if you are a fan of Dragon Age Origins, this game will completely make your life miserable. It was bad in every way possible. It's not that much in the developed areas. I cannot say anything about what people personally think, but it's definitely better than before. Yes, it's not like open, but here's the thing. It's not like outright open, but it is there, you know. It is there in the background, you know. That's how it works. The things are going on. It's not outright in the open. Straight up. It's also like that. Nobody is just calling other caste people are bad or anything like that in the open. But there is things happening in the background, pretty much.
First thing, do you remember how some of the game footage got leaked shortly before the review embargo was lifted?
Sure.
For example, this being one of those clips.
Fruit before it spoils.
I like the cookies better.
Everyone likes the cookies better.
I'll eat the fruit.
So, the dragon hunter has a softer side.
The Kyun says you take care of people.
So, you're a little Kunari, a little Rivani, and
we've seen this before.
Dragon?
Reddit dialogue, yeah.
I get that.
Come on. I should tell my mother how Karash is doing.
Well, Twitter people would go on to take a look at the Rook being used in those leaks, Rook being the player character, and compare it to the Rook that was used in Mr. Matty Plays review, going on to accuse him of breaking NDA and leaking the game.
Yeah.
More specifically, they would accuse him of leaking that footage to someone else, who then posted it to Twitter and also went on to make a number of racist comments. For example,
to be honest, here's the thing here, people. Most people in developed areas don't even have the time to think about this kind of stuff, you know? They just have their own job. They have to wake up at 9 a.m., freaking 5 a.m. in the morning, get ready for the work. You know, get stuck in the traffic jam, and you have to mull out there, and then they have to, if they go late to the office, that's their freaking thinking. They don't even have time to think about this kind of stuff at all. That's why developed areas are, it's not very common there. They didn't even have the time. No, that's not true. It's always the most unexpected people. XD. What do you mean? I don't understand the context. I'm just saying this is the common, like kinda. But I'm not sure. Some people do think about this, but I'm not sure about that. Like who knows what other people think? I'm not a mind reader. Nobody is.
This tweet saying, by the way, Mr. Matty Plays broke the Dragon Age NDA and leaked gameplay footage to a friend who happens to have a very racist Twitter account. So yeah, good luck with this one. Another tweet, this one with over 2,600 likes, would read, hey cutie, this you from the leaked footage being spread by you.
Wait, what do you mean no, that's not true? It's the most unexpected people, XD. I don't understand that.
One of your friends, quote unquote. Shame other companies saw who they trusted their content either. Couldn't give it 24 hours to just post a critical review, you bad to show your phobe friend, or was it you directly? While half that post is incoherent nonsense, we get the...
Yeah. What? It's a schizo post. Yeah, it's a schizo post. What is this?
Point. They're upset. Another post with over 2,200 likes saying Mr. Matty Plays insulting the game while also leaking the game to his Nazi friend, adding
oh, God, that word is going to come out.
Anytime that I hear somebody use the word Nazi, I automatically assume that they're a retard.
True.
Like, there's a handful of words that if I see somebody use this term,
people don't even know what that word means.
I'm like, oh, okay, you're a retard. Like, let's not, there's no reason.
One day, most of my friends talking shit about his cousins because I see. It depends.
To take any of this seriously.
Look at them side by side and tell me it's not his rook. This tweet got over 8,500 likes, and it reads, it's being claimed that a prominent reviewer not only leaked NDA'd footage under an alias, he then posted a video review of the game featuring an identical custom character. The real insider is back, ladies and gentlemen. So they basically accuse him of not just leaking it to a friend, but instead leaking it himself on an alt. The same person later adding, oh, it's so over, and reposting one of the tweets that we already just read. Here's another example with 6,200 plus likes reading, I'm not going to respect the opinion of someone who broke their NDA and gave their phobic friend, quote unquote, game footage to spread around in people's Twitter replies on solicit.
Here's the thing. Look at this fucking, like, this is like a K-pop stan.
It's supposed to be using,
Look.
Depending on, I see.
They've got a profile.
I mean, they're just mad, so that's why they just say it, it's not a big deal.
Picture of a character in the game. They've got their name is that character of the picture, and then their title, their at is failed to serve. This is a K-pop stan. You can't look at somebody like this and be like, oh, I wonder what they think. This person's insane. It's got to be, yeah, what are we even talking about here? Yeah, story right. Yeah, it's a PR person. Let's go the way. Yeah, what even is this? It's their entire personality. Yeah, of course, you were never going to expect that. You were never going to respect their opinion to begin with, okay?
Much better than
pretend like
10 to 15, 20 years ago. Oh, yeah. Because, yo, Bunny B, thank you for dropping by. Hello. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. 20 years ago, absolutely. 15, 20 years ago, our place is way better, like insanely better.
Oh, yeah.
Well, side-eyeing anyone who
sorry. Let's go ahead
I think
and
the
believe
most
this person
you're
who has their
coming to get
entire
the tea on Dragon Age.
tied up in a video game, who at this time did not even,
nice.
The video game's not even released yet. Yeah, this is totally this is.
Oh, buddy, I got a clip for you. Dragon Age, right? The new game? Watch this. It's not much of a spoiler, so don't worry. I got something for you. Once again. It's gonna happen, watch. That it's gonna happen? No. Right there. What do you think? This game is good? Are you able to see it? GG, man. Yeah. This is what you can expect in this game. So that guy jumps from there, goes through the dragon, and then hits me up while I am in front of the dragon. Honestly, I was having a hard time with the AI enemy tracking. True. Oh, did you play this game? God, I feel bad for you. I think that if you go past like 10 hours playing a mage and then no matter what I am always getting the aggro, true. They will always up next to you and then beat you. I think it is kind of brutal. Not to mention, have you noticed the lock-on system is kind of janky? They won't even try to hit my allies too. Like the lock-on system, I'm almost gonna restart. Yeah, I think he could play a warrior or a thief. Maybe oh, it's janky too. Yeah, that's also a problem with this game. I think the story kinda picks up once you assemble your team. So you should push through till then. Sorta picks up. Sorta. People do against the others people. Still there, but really there are many people who are coming from. I hate it because I always play mage in a Dragon Age and then they really won in the previous games. I see. Yeah, I think the combat became action combat, right? It's just the most problem with that is they just hit you from off screen many times. And then your lock-on system is being janky. You said you just have to constantly move your camera a lot. It just makes the combat unfun. I am playing as a mage too, as you saw. As you saw, I play as a mage spellblade. They don't even target other people, so like true as well. And have you noticed your party member never dies? They will always be immortal most of the time. I never seen my party member died even once. But you get folded almost every time.
Is a normal person on the internet?
Yeah, me unsolicited. Screw all the way off with that nonsense. Going on to add, honestly, I'm side-eyeing anyone who takes the review seriously knowing what he did. Can we be serious? This dude clearly has some weird vendetta against the Veilguard.
Do we know? Like, I mean...
How far are you into the game, buddy? I can see your war sometimes.
By the way, it's bad if he leaked NDA footage, right? It's bad. He shouldn't have done that, like, for sure.
I am not super stoked on the party members either. Yeah, I mean... That is one guy that's kind of interesting. You will find him soon. There is one guy from what's that name? The Crows. He was kind of cool. And then what do you think about Solus? Is Solus a good character? Ah, you'll be playing it offline. Yes. I love Solus. Yeah, he was kind of cool.
But like, why don't people ever want to read what somebody says and then discuss whether what they're saying is accurate or not? I feel like so much nowadays, there's like all of a conversation around the noise. There's just
my Roma's last game. It's like, devastated by the events.
Who this person is. Let's talk about, well, they're
friends
with this other person. Like, there's never a conversation about ideas.
This is my
there's never
a
conversation about
I made
like,
a big mistake.
An element of the game. There's always conversations that are like these like weird virtue signals or basically some form of performative behavior.
Ah, nice.
There's no thinking that's happening here.
I heard the other games
are with his damn editor, part of his team, the one responsible for his review video. It's not a friend. Well, I mean, he just made a mistake by showing it, right? It's really not complicated. Yeah, sure. Does that mean by acknowledge that they're right? There's no way it's going to happen. It's a tribal war. It's guilt by association. Yeah, individual thinking is dwarfs. But yeah, it's like nobody's even talking about what the guy said in the video. That's what's so crazy about this is like people will link a video, nobody will watch the video, and everybody will have an opinion about it. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
So many times.
It happens constantly.
My Elden Ring video, I seen so many comments that just says my opinion is bad without even watching my video. And then they don't even know what I'm talking about that game. And then they say my opinion is bad. Straight up. And then I just asked them, did you watch my video? And then said, I didn't even bother to watch your video. You know?
Like, I will even see, I will see clips on Reddit, and it will be a 15-second clip.
What the hell?
And half of the comments didn't even watch it.
Yeah. True.
What
True,
are
buddy.
we doing? How is this happening?
It's instant trigger. People just get triggered immediately as soon as they see the title, and then they just immediately go to the comment section and become keyboard warriors. Pretty much every time.
It gets worse, yes.
It doesn't
Soon
matter
enough,
if you're good
Matt
at the
addressed
game or
situation
anything.
himself in a tweet getting over 9,900 likes. He says, I think it goes without saying, but today has been an extremely hard day.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your patience as I looked into things. First off, I would like to apologize to everyone at BioWare and EA. I have already reached out to them to let them know the truth. We already have plans to sit down and have a conversation about it. That is my gameplay. It was never my intention for clips of Dragon Age to get released ahead of the embargo lifting. I had shared these 2 clips of the game with an editor of mine. It's my understanding that these clips were then taken, shared again, and went down the chain to someone far removed from both of us, who then posted them claiming to be associated with me. So yes, the clips are mine.
See.
If BioWare, EA, or any other game company chooses not to work with me over this, then I fully understand and accept that. If you, the viewers of my content, choose not—
I mean, either way, I don't think BioWare is gonna work with this person at all. He said the game is bad, and then he is not gonna get support anymore. You know, he is done. You gotta say this game good. Otherwise, you ain't getting another copy from them.
not to trust me because you deem me irresponsible with the privilege I was given as a game reviewer. I also fully—
Buddy, what's your thoughts about this game so far? Yeah, true. What is your opinion about this game? Like Dragon Age Veilguard. So far you've been played. How long you played?
understand and accept that.
Wow. That's basically fucking that is the perfect way to say it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he just showed an important part or anything.
That's a perfect way to address it. Yep.
Well, I think
With
Bunny
that
got
said,
stuck
it's
on the
extremely
ad.
important for me to firmly shut down one element of this narrative going around about me. Whoever shared these clips on X with the attached hateful comments and replies is not me. I have no clue who runs that account. They're most definitely not my friend, and they stand against everything I believe in.
I want to play a few hours, but I think it's
whoever took my
pretty
game
far
footage and tweeted
deviation
it
from the
as if they
previous
were
game.
connected with me was quite deliberate, as it's an easy way to paint me in a bad
did you
light.
like it
There are
or
many guesses I may
no?
have. I would never leak my own footage on an alt and then use that exact same footage in my review.
Or is it
Said
made?
account no longer exists, and it is my understanding that it's because it was reported multiple times following the public ridicule it rightfully received. There's no room for that type of hate.
Very
I also know
linear
it's
and
personal, so I have
flashy,
not deleted
something
any
like
comments
that.
on my
I see, I
review.
see.
I believe
Alright.
as a consumer of media, you have a right to call someone out on BS or say what you feel.
Fair
I do
enough.
have preset words for my channel filter that fall
I
under
have my
racist, homophobic,
I have
etc.
my
terms
preference.
that automatically get
Ah,
caught by
okay.
YouTube's moderation system, but that's it. I know I can't
Of course,
convince
of course.
each and every one of you, but I do think you all deserve an explanation. At the end of the day, my circle of trust was breached, and it was my fault for sending a clip in the first place. As a quick—
At the end of the day, it's his responsibility, but it might not necessarily be his fault. I mean, most people that do YouTube videos have an editor for the YouTube videos. Few people like edit and...
I think my opinion about this game, it's not as bad as people say it is, and it's not as good as people think it is either. You know, it's kind of bad, but it's not that bad. That's all I can say about this. Like the combat is janky, the dialogue is kind of odd. The story didn't go anywhere. Like I've been playing this game for like at least 14 hours or something, and the story like slightly picked up like here and there, and that's pretty much it. Like most of the time, you have to talk to your companions and stuff, and none of the companions are that interesting to begin with at all. Like it just It's just, I think some of them are kind of interesting. I'm so sad about this. I mean, if you like it, don't go for it. Like it's, I have no problem. Like, but Bunny, have you played Metaphor? Metaphor Fantasy. I think I will recommend this game. Story is why I play the game. Oh, I think you should push through it. Like, keep playing it. The story does get a little bit interesting. I don't think I have yet. I think play this and then finish it. Maybe have it in your gameplay list. Metaphor Fantasio and Final Fantasy 16. Try both of them. I think for its story, I think you should. For Final Fantasy 16, you should try the demo and see if you like it or not. But coming from those games, this game feels bad. Like Final Fantasy 16, Metaphor Fantasio, God of War I played, the new one, the Ragnarok. Compared to those games, this game kind of falls flat, straight up. Even Assassin's Creed Origin kind of was decent. I played the earlier Final Fantasy games, not the new ones. I will highly recommend to play 16. That game is amazing. Just demo is free, try the demo, and see if you like it or not. And God of War, I played the older ones, not the new ones. So I think you I mean, you can try them out. Like God of War, Final Fantasy 16. What else is the good games I have seen that has a good story? Probably even Callisto Protocol was kind of fine. If you got it on Epic Games Stores for free. Like, I will recommend 2 games. You won't regret that. Metaphor Fantasio and Final Fantasy 16. Both are amazing. My brother liked Callisto a lot. Callisto Protocol is a decent game. I liked that game too. I enjoyed it. Like the combat is a little bit questionable, but the game is pretty good. Like the overall, the vibe it had was good.
Record their own videos just because of the way that, it just takes a long time.
Like those are the 2 games I will recommend. Metaphor Fantasio and Final Fantasy 16. Pick one. And then here's the funny part. Play those 2 games and then play this, and you'll see exactly where I am coming from.
And so I actually think that type of a statement is one of the best ways. This is probably one of the best statements that you could make. Yeah, based response. Absolutely based response. And I think it's fair. Yeah, it was a mistake to have that happen, and it's clearly bad that it happened. Yeah, sure.
Side note for additional context, the reason why he references his comments is because a flood of comments came from Twitter accusing him of breaking the NDA during the entire situation. Continuing, he says, "I'm deeply disheartened by the amount of people who believe that this Twitter account was me. I don't..."
Because they're stupid liars. And as soon as they see somebody who they disagree with or who they think is against them, they think that it's totally normal and fair to make up lies about them and damage their reputation.
Yep, pretty much.
That's what happens, is that as soon as, and this is what the internet does, is they find a way to dehumanize somebody, and then they use that as evidence or some sort of justification to treat this person like shit. Twitter brain, many people, yeah, I think it's very common.
Absolutely.
Expect blind loyalty, yet it hurts to see just how quickly
immediately go in the aggro mode.
The sad reality of it all is the damage is done.
It's like in the zombies in the Dark Souls, they just immediately go in aggro mode and then hit you as soon as you go near them. It's like some of the people in Twitter is like that.
And many people have made up their minds about me
Exactly.
today. Since I have started covering...
Yeah, you should never try to... for me, I've learned that you can never convince people that are ideologists or ideologues that they're wrong. There will be no combination of words that you can tell them that will make them rethink their worldview.
Yeah.
And so if you realize that, the only thing that you can do is make them look stupid publicly, because you're never actually going to change their mind. Don't cater to Twitter mob? Yeah, exactly. They use the same logic to cancel you. Well, it sure didn't work. After I came back from my break, my house was cleaned up. I had a number of responsibilities.
And then he has a videos that just popping off with 1 million views. Look at this guy. It actually worked in his favor. That bad actually worked in his favor, dude.
Want to deal with? They're now off my plate. My stream is getting more viewers than ever.
He's doing better than ever.
YouTube videos are getting hundreds of thousands, if not over a million views. So it sure didn't work very well.
Even he knows that.
This game, many angry opinions have fallen.
But I still think the thing he said was kind of bad.
And had a chance to interview the game's director, Corinne Bush.
It is sometimes good
my way because they wanted their opinions heard. Now I have put out my honest and objective review, and people are still unhappy with my personal opinion.
That's always what it's going to be. It never had anything to do with, like, if you had said the game was great and then the person had posted that clip, they wouldn't have hated you. They would have felt sorry for you that somebody betrayed your trust.
Yeah.
The reason why they're hating you is because you said something they disagree with. And they're just using the NDA as an excuse to justify that hate.
Yep.
It's been my goal to deliver fair, honest coverage of video games and elevate the conversation, not fan the flames. I'm deeply sad that my clips have played into the detraction of a game that, as stated in my review, others may enjoy more than me. Looking at the Open Critic score, I'm glad to see it is that way. It's been a tough cycle for the folks at BioWare, and to know I played a part in the pain of the developer who made my favorite games ever is a regret that I don't think I will ever live down, even if people choose to forgive me. I want to thank my wife, my best friend.
I think in my review, when I'm gonna make a review about this game, it's gonna be glorious. I can think of 2 things in the pro section, and then I can think of 20 things in the con sections for this game. There is only 2 things I can say good about this game completely. One of them is its graphics, and the second one is how well it runs on my computer. That's it. I cannot think, for the love of God, think of anything else to say good things about this game, man. Maybe the transmog is decent. Maybe. That's it. Like, I cannot even think of anything nice to say about this game. Like, I'm just trying so hard.
Friends and my LSM family who hung with me and didn't lose faith in me. The statements made about my character today have broken my heart into a million pieces. I don't say that so you feel bad for me. I just feel it's important to give my love to those who willingly stood by me in the face of all this. I know it wasn't easy having your ethics in question just by being in my vicinity.
These people will do anything that they can, and there is nothing that...
Yeah, those dragons look sure as good until they come up your ass.
It's off limits for them to do. Like, for
that's
example,
for sure.
Like, whenever I've had tons of people talk about, like, how they were, like, make jokes about, like, my mom dying and stuff like that as, like, a result of me saying something that they disagree with on stream. There is no like depth that these people won't do. There's no line they won't cross. There's no bar they won't be able to manage to go under. They will always do this. They're just shitty people.
Until I saw the beam going through all of them.
I don't get mad about this, really. I just look at it like, okay, this person's just an asshole. Who cares, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings, really.
Thank you, buddy. If you're live, I will be sure to write you or something. At the end
of the day, you have to acknowledge that, like, these people...
Yeah, if you're streaming, go for it.
They are bad actors, and they are bad people. Fundamentally. And what they're doing is they are looking. I
want to see what's your opinion about this game.
Use as an outlet for that aggression. They're looking for a person.
I can give you. Here's the thing. Like it. Thank you. Of course. I think talk how you feel about that game. Like be honest. Like in a sense, just don't say something really that gets you in trouble. But you can just talk about how you feel about that game. You know, either it's good or bad. It's no problem.
Like, let me think of a good way.
You know, I want to hear what are your thoughts about that game. It's kind of a... I'm curious,
wants to be able to enact violence or enact vitriol and be cruel to somebody and have a moral superiority to it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I think that's what happens a lot on Twitter.
Of course.
Yeah, they're looking for acceptable targets.
If possible, make a review.
Their life must be messed up. Yeah, sure. They got bullied in high school, then I bully other people. Well, I think that the best way to deal with that is to call it out and make sure that these people don't feel like there's an ecosystem that supports that behavior.
Group, Alexa? Where is it? What do you mean? I mean, I could do that.
Really what it comes down to is that the only way that you can stop these people from doing it is if
I'm
you
pretty
make
good
it,
at
if you
finding bad
indicate to
stuff
them
of the game.
that it's not
Absolutely.
popular for them to behave this way. Because these people don't actually have any beliefs. A
It
lot
really
of what
seems
they do,
professional
they're
after a
only
live,
doing it
really?
for attention.
I just rage so much on my videos. You thinking my videos are professional? God damn. Thank you so much for that.
And for you know, basically to look like they're being a good person. So if there are people that look like, oh wow,
thank
this
you.
is the wrong
I really
opinion,
appreciate
they'll
you
just
saying
immediately change their opinion because they don't have any real
Yes, I am
values
trying to
other
do
than
that as
trying to
well.
be accepted. Social shaming works on them? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're weak-minded, stupid people. So the best thing that you can do is to just publicly support things that are against.
Yeah, I think the definition for critic is something that's in a negative way you have to talk about certain things, I think. You know, not so favorable. That's what I heard in the Google search.
And publicly not support them and say negative things about them.
Yeah. Oh, you have seen my masterpiece of the Elden Ring. I just freaking I just had a freaking goal, dude. This Dark Souls elitist made that game, said that it was a masterpiece, and I was so mad about that, and then I literally made like a 2-hour video saying that game was bad. You know, Jesus. And then here's the funny part. This was my best moment in my life. Just saying that game was bad and then being good at that game at the same time. That is the best accomplishment I did in Elden Ring. Goddamn. I just go back and look at that video. It just makes me, you know, it gives me goosebumps of what I did with that game. You know?
And this will make them go away because the only reason they're doing it is for clout. And so if they're not getting clout for it, they'll stop doing it.
Yes.
It's really simple.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why I have pros and cons. I don't just want to see everything negative about a game either. You know?
Lastly, I'm not going anywhere. I will continue.
But I do definitely have preference. So that does play a good role.
Continue to make content about games across Mr. Matty Plays, Retro Rebound, and To Finding Duke. I will also continue to pretend I know what I'm talking about when it comes to movies on Retro Rewind. Hopefully I'll see you there. If not,
use their social validation against them. That's exactly right.
Oh boy. I know exactly what I'm talking about because I can just pull a clip and then show the clip and then step by step show you what's going on. You know, most of the time that's how my reviews go.
I have no problem doing that because I think that these people are, I think that they're bad people, and I think that they're, I also don't think that like you have to go and attack them necessarily, but I think that what's better than attacking them is to build something that is more successful and that is more well received, and they will naturally come over to your side anyway because they don't really care about the issue. All they care about is their perception.
Yeah, it could work.
That's all you have to do.
Yes, it helps.
Thanks for taking the time to read this, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Stay sexy, stay active, Maddie.
Wait, what did it help?
This tweet here ended up getting just around 10,000 likes, and we can see that a lot of the responses are supportive of his explanation. Getting just around 10,000
likes bad. 10,000 likes bad. Isn't that the like symbol is the heart in Twitter? Where is it? I'm not seeing any 10,000 there. Oh, game is 3 zeros, I think.
And we can see that a lot of the responses are supportive of his explanation. However, what Maddie said about many people throwing him under the bus is also true. And many of the people who did such haven't deleted their tweets after his explanation. Some of them have even doubled down. It really looks like parts of the mob want him to be guilty, perhaps as some sort of payback for his negative review of Veilguard.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly, it's literally just that. You can never make people like this happy.
your videos.
Dragon
Thank you,
subreddit,
I
you
am
can see top comments
It
like
is pretty
this.
fun to
Better
do that
report them
too.
to EA/BioWare. According to Gil or Kala, I don't remember now, they're under NDA to not post spoilers about the game. Even during the review time, they're forbidden to show some spoilery things. I say let EA deal with this jerk. This whole friend is likely just an excuse to leak things from his review copy. I really gotta wonder, if his review was positive, if they'd be saying the same things. Back on—
No, they wouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly.
The only reason they're mad is because he's saying something that they disagree with.
Yeah, it could have, it didn't even become a problem. Like if he said good things about that game, people wouldn't have even noticed that he was breaking the NDA.
There's no actual principle behind this at all.
Because it's a 30-second clip, dude. Come on.
There's no real thinking or anything like that. It's just like they're saying this because he's saying something they don't like. Most of the time, like, this is one thing you have to keep in mind, is that every internet controversy doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter what Mr. Beast does. It doesn't really matter what, happens on, like, I don't know, some, like, random YouTube channel, like, oh, Logan Paul said something that was stupid. Like, nobody really cares about any of this stuff, right? And so, if you acknowledge that and you understand it, and you come to the realization that basically every single controversy on the internet, and even, like, political events, most of them will never actually have any direct effect on the people that are talking about them. You understand that people are only getting mad about stuff to be recreationally offended. This is what they do on the internet now. And people like to go on the internet, follow channels that make them mad, and complain about it all the time. It's like a form of, like, like fucking self-harm mental illness. And so the way that you push against that is you just simply ignore it. You just ignore it and don't give them any attention. That's it.
No, I think that's not true. Like most people, I don't think it's a mental illness or anything. Most people, what they do, they look for another perspective of the things they like or something, and then they get triggered when they say something that they don't agree with, and then they go full nuclear on the comment section. That's what happens. They don't deliberately search for the things that's negative about something,
Recreational offenders, man. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what they do.
I mean, me myself, this guy said, asmongold said, Monster Hunter was a great game, and then I played it. God damn, it was awful.
On Twitter, other people would respond to Maddie, still upset, saying,
It's just the preference. Like, people's preference differ.
things like,
that's what the best thing about people.
Those leaked images came out a while ago. He had to know that was his room, and he didn't say anything until it was exposed. And all you have to do is look at the comment section of that review to disprove the not feeding the drama about this game.
So, like, the comment section, like,
good on you
and
for
this is the
yeah,
logic,
people
right?
don't really accepting they could be wrong. True. Me
It's
myself,
harder
also
to convince a
included,
man that he's been
I do
fooled
not
than to
like
fool a man.
denial. Instantly triggers
Once a
me.
person has made up their mind about something, they will almost never change their mind,
Yeah, same.
even if evidence is presented that directly contradicts what they said. They just won't change their mind because they don't want to acknowledge that they're wrong. Yeah, they dig their heels in. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Like, and this is the way people on the internet think. 90% of Gen Z, no. Boomers do the same thing. Like, Gen X does the same thing. Millennial, it's a human psychology.
Yeah, they don't want to get disagreed with and then proven they are wrong. Not proven, told they are wrong.
Breaking the NDA. But that's not going to cut it. We need an actual apology for the toxicity that's grown in your channel and space.
See, now, again, right? You don't actually have it. You don't really care about the NDA. Why would you care about the NDA? You don't work at the company. You give a shit about that. All you care about is shitting on somebody who's saying something that you don't like.
Yeah.
And people do this a lot with me, too. They get mad at my community because, like, I have a very hands-off approach with, like, my moderation. I only basically ban people that are breaking the rules on the website that could get me in trouble. I don't ban certain types of opinions generally. Like, if somebody wants to say something that's, like, perceived as toxic, I think that that's their right to say that. Now, there's some things, if I just don't like them, I'll ban them, right? Like spamming or something like that. But overall, I let people express whatever viewpoint they want. You don't ban them. You only ban people if they make you mad. Yeah, exactly. Right? But, like, if somebody wants to have a viewpoint that I don't agree with, I think that's totally fair.
No, because it's his channel. He has every right to ban people that he doesn't like.
Yeah, because you like the views? Well, of course I like the views. You think I'm doing my YouTube? You think I record YouTube videos and I stream because I don't want people to watch the content? Do you think this is like some kind of like a gotcha? Of course I want people to watch my content.
Bad. Reposo.
Dove? Yeah, everybody does. Of course.
As a result of your editor.
Absolutely.
And a response about how that will be handled going forward.
Yeah.
Name shame that editor. This one simply saying you should never get review code again. And one more example we'll take a look at reads, people fawning in the comments and quotes, even though he neither says what will happen with the editor allegedly responsible for the leak, nor addresses the toxicity he's let grow in his community.
See, this is another thing that people criticize me for.
Like, here's the thing. If you like a game that I don't like, by all means, you are fine for liking that game. I'm not saying you are doing something wrong or anything like that. But do not come into my comment section or my stream and disagree with me. That is annoying. You come into my space and then disagree with me, right? I cannot accept that. You know? Like saying that I was wrong or something like that. This is how I feel. This is my subjective review, right? Subjective review. And I want to be honest with my feelings and how I feel about the game. You know? This is from me, complete raw, unfiltered. Right? If you don't like it, you know what to do, you know? Do not go into the comment section and mod. It's just a waste of time, pretty much. Yeah, it's gaming, not politics, lover. Yeah, you don't have to have a debate section. That nobody is gonna eat. I'm not never gonna take what I said back. And you are not gonna agree with that ever. So we are not gonna go anywhere, and then you are gonna be in the stalemate and then get yourself banned. It's just a waste of time for both of us. Just move on. There are many other things to pursue in a game, pursue in life than just defending a game. Like, Jesus Christ.
And so I feel like I'm kind of shadowboxing this because it's like, this is the same thing that people say about me. Is that a lot of people criticize me because they say that my community is extremely toxic. I think in a lot of cases, my community is toxic. It is. I'm the Lich King. Absolutely. But the community is toxic because these are the viewpoints of people. Some people are toxic.
It's just once again extremism.
They might not share the same viewpoints that you have.
Yeah.
That's the real world. There are people who don't like looking at things the way that you like looking at things.
Yeah.
And you can call it toxic. That's fine. Totally okay. But that's not going to make them change their viewpoint. So, not toxic specifically, but surely quite stern. Well, that's just the way it is. This isn't an echo chamber. Every stream to an extent is an echo chamber. But what I'm saying is that I let people...
That's what people are so hard to get it through their skulls. This is, even though it's a public platform, a person that's just standing in front of you, it's an echo chamber. It's always got to be echo chamber. Go to any stream and then disagree with them and then argue with them. At one point or another, they will find you annoying and you will get banned. That's how human psychology works. You know? And you cannot argue that you shouldn't be banned because you are going into their space and then wasting their time to make them agree with your opinion. It's not gonna work. The best thing you could have done is go into a public platform yourself and then what do you call it? Disagree with them. Like make another video disagreeing with this or something like that. You know, instead of just going into the comment section and being a freaking obnoxious, what do you call it?
Express viewpoints that other content creators don't let them express. And I'm not sorry, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Everybody is going to do it, one way or another. Nobody is going to allow someone that's being hostile towards the streamer.
Straight up. Like, if you want to talk about a really contentious, super controversial topic, I let you do that.
Yeah.
Because it's not a problem to me. I don't think that that's an issue. Like, I don't... The idea that, like, I should be held accountable
For
for
me, it's
the
kind of
words that somebody...
depends. I don't really want to talk about politics or this racial discrimination or other stuff because it's a sensitive topic. And, I mean, for me, I personally don't even care. For me, is everybody is equal. That's pretty much it, right? It's my opinion of about that kind of stuff is just ends there, straight up. You know, I don't want to go into that integracies and then talk about those kind of stuff.
Says, what a ridiculous notion.
Because it's a waste of time.
That's insane. Of course, I'm not accountable for the comment that they make on my video. That's crazy. They are. That's their comment. They're typing that. That's the way that accountability is, right? And so
yeah. Yeah, she start talking about Israel about if you're not donating money, please you better not.
Let's go back to maneuver diplomacy. Yeah, exactly.
Who is that?
Is there anything people
it seems
can do
like
to
that sounds like a
change
popular
somebody's viewpoint?
streamer.
Well, I don't know, right? It depends on who it is and what it is. So, like with people, like for example, like the Mr. Beast thing, there were a lot of people who thought that just earlier, you know, Mr. Beast was like actually just doing it because of like a scam and it was like all a lie.
I mean, for me, all I can say is it doesn't matter what your reasoning for war is. Ultimately, war, no matter what argument you have, is bad. Straight up. You cannot justify a war because it affects the people that's participating in the war and then their families as well, and then the whole state's economy. It's a bigger thing than you think. It is the worst possible outcome you could have done. If you want to make people suffer through the war, you should have just, you should not do that. That is the worst thing you could have done for your people. Don't make a sword out of war. True. As a true CEO wasn't that popular. Oh my god, don't make a sword out of war. Like, ultimately, it's just a bad thing. Like, straight up. Like, what's the reason? Like, we are in 2024. Why would you go on a war? Like, are you stupid? What are you, caveman? To go on a war? Jesus Christ. The only war you're actually supposed to do is pretty much with the diseases we have in the world. Jesus Christ. These people are just still, we are in 2024, but still, many people are still living in freaking the Stone Age, dude.
I explain my view.
It just genuinely makes me genuinely sad. It's just sad.
Point on why I don't think that happened, and then we move on. Like, yeah, obviously, if somebody disagrees in a way that's littered with personal insults and they're being rude, then yeah, they might get banned. But they're not getting banned for disagreeing; they're getting banned for being rude.
Imagine fighting other people and killing them.
Of course, there's going to be
lines on a freaking paper.
That's the way that the world works. And trying to silence and censor out any part of a community that you think is toxic because of some imaginary criteria that you've invented, and then, you know, basically demonize somebody else as a bad person because they don't have that same criteria as you. It's like a level of entitlement that is just incredible. And I don't support that at all. Comment, that's not true? No, I think it depends on who it is. Facts change viewpoints, not opinions. No, the best argument isn't an argument. Most people make opinions and decisions based off of emotion and not actual rationality. That's just the way it is.
Pretty much.
Twitch doesn't think so about your chat. You're responsible for stupid people here. Yeah, no, I am. And we have to ban people if they go over the line. But if they're not going over the line, they're probably not going to get banned. Even if they say something that you think is terrible. Too bad. Too bad. That's their freedom of speech. They can say that. It's my channel. Yep. You don't like it. You think it's bad, toxic. Go ahead. Fine. I'm still going to let them say it. Keep complaining.
Okay, buddy, there are many other responses that he's getting, just like those. And when you take a look at those accounts, they come off like those sort of social media activist types. I find it very amusing how many of them
a social media activist, another term for that, is a person that doesn't do anything that matters.
It's just the more worst part about this is the aftermath of war. Your economy will just took a nosedive, and you will have a freaking what do you call it? Um, like everything will rise in price, and then everything becomes inaccessible, and then your technology takes a massive nosedive. If we get a World War III or something like that, kiss any type of freaking technology development for the next 20 years. Goodbye. You don't remember the pandemic? Like pandemic just halted our progression in technology by 5 years, dude. Because people barely can't even do anything. And then the freaking innovation just died. Every aspect. Take computers, you take graphics card, take mobile phones, everything just stagnated for like 2-3 years. We could have had a 5090 for right now. You know, we could have rocking a 5090. She's still offline though. Yep. You online? 16 hours ago, damn.
Social media activists, it's like an oxymoron or like non sequitur.
Yeah.
Tend to be pro-labor, yet they're also the quickest people to cry to corporations and try to get those corporations to take actions against individual laborers. Anyways, that's the situation. Let me know what you think about all of that in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my coverage, and if you did,
that's my
please
take. Why would you go
subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.
There it is.
Just the other day we were talking.
Well, give me a second. Let me make sure I pause this. So yeah, I pretty much agree with everything that he said. I think it's an extremely common topic where
just
like people say and they paint your audience or like a person's audience as being toxic when that audience has a viewpoint or values that people disagree with. And I think that's what happens a lot. It happens a lot with my stream. And I see it all the time on like Reddit where like people are like, oh, I hate asmongold's community. You don't hate my community. You hate the fact that I don't silence people that disagree with you. That's what you really hate. And I think that's what happens with a lot of these people. And I'll link you guys the video. This is a very good video. But like when people are talking about this, like I have a lot of opinions because I feel like I get targeted with this stuff a lot. And like you're really getting mad that I'm not censoring and silencing people that you don't like. That's really what it is most of the time. That's why you're respected. Well, some people respect me, some people don't, right? But what I try to do is I try to give as much of a fair take and a good shake on things as I possibly can. I try not to lie to viewers. I try not to play into things that are unpopular. Like for example, or sorry, they're not unpopular. That like I try not to like not play into things just because they are unpopular. Like for example, like I said, Dragon Age. Like I didn't think it was that bad. I actually didn't. I think that yeah, it wasn't a great game. It's not amazing. But like it's better than Starfield. It was like I was pleasantly surprised. It's not a great game. It's not a game of the year. It's not even a nominee for it, but it was okay. Check Steam reviews and scroll down. How the fuck is it mostly positive with 5 pages of negative? Because the negative reviews are probably more highly upvoted or more highly interacted with. That's probably the reason why. Why are they mad? We're not the target audience for this game. Consultants don't like have that kind of power, but if you don't hire them, we will write never-ending negative press for you. Yeah, that's actually true too. Is that games journalists create a necessity for consultants by intentionally misunderstanding and misrepresenting things in a way that creates their own necessity. Like basically games journalists, and this is something all journalists I think do too, is that they necessitate their own existence by effectively appointing themselves as gatekeepers to taste in a different market. And so what they do is that I think Black Myth Wukong is a really good example of this, where like in Black Myth Wukong, where like all these games journalists kept like going and putting out all these reviews saying like, oh, there's accusations of sexism in the workplace. And all of the people that are actually looking for an evaluation on the company, not on the company, on the game, were getting mad about it. Game reviews are unreliable? Yeah. This is the type of game will get an 80 from journalists and 30 by the players. Yeah, exactly. And I think that indicates that there is a huge problem. When we watch reviews that express the opposite opinion of mine to see if there's a logical argument that I may be missing with something in my opinion, I listen to a lot of people who don't have the same viewpoint as me. And obviously, like, I don't want to have people like that in my Twitch chat constantly trying to fight with me, because I don't really consider those people generally like very good arbiters of having those opinions. But whenever I'm looking at it on like my own, if you look at my following list, right, on Twitter, for example, like, because I'm pretty sure that's still public, you can see that I follow people that are like all across the political spectrum, all across the social spectrum, all across every spectrum, right? And so the reason why is that I think that that gives me a more comprehensive viewpoint on things, and it allows me to better understand like what is and is not happening.
Alright, there we go. Amazing video. It's just mostly talking about the wokeness of the game. Like, instead of just don't even mention it. Like, it is there, yes, but it's not that much of a problem. The game has many other problems on top of it, right? So you gotta deal with that first, and then talk about this. You know,